So what if the most powerful thing you could do in a conversation is say nothing at all? Today, we're going to dive into a pretty compelling philosophy from author Thaddeus Mitchell on the strategic power of being reserved. And no, this isn't about being shy, it's about choosing silence as a tool, a way to better understand the world around you.
I mean, really think about it. In a world that just never stops talking, what happens when you decide to be the one who actually listens? Mitchell argues there's a massive advantage to it, and we're about to break down exactly what that is.
So, how does someone even become reserved? Well, for the author, this wasn't like flipping a switch overnight. Nope. He describes it as a long, very conscious journey and a really crucial part of his own personal growth. But this is not a simple success story. As we're going to see, choosing this path means you're making a deliberate trade-off. It's this constant balancing act between how other people see you and the inner peace you get in return.
All right, so where did this all begin? To really get this philosophy, we need to rewind. We're going way back to its origins, the elementary school playground.
This slide here, it maps out the whole journey perfectly. You can see how it starts with just simple childhood observation, right? Then it gets supercharged by this one big event in 4th grade, and eventually, it all hardens into a core belief about human nature.
And this quote, wow, it just captures his mindset perfectly. While all the other kids were just playing, he saw himself as more of a scientist, studying the complex social ecosystem of his peers. He was on the sidelines, trying to decode all the unwritten rules of popularity.
This moment right here was a huge turning point. He found this song by Rush that felt like it was written just for him. It perfectly explained his feeling that the world is just one giant popularity contest. He was so excited to share this big revelation, but when he did, his classmates just laughed. It was a pretty harsh lesson. Sometimes broadcasting your deepest thoughts isn't the best strategy.
Now, let's see how these early experiences started to evolve into the author's central idea about human nature itself. This is really where his observation transforms into a full-blown theory.
And this is the core of it. The author argues that for all our intelligence, our social behaviors often look a whole lot like the animal kingdom, a constant kind of primal struggle for dominance and for status.
He even came up with his own terms for this. When people let their primal instincts take over in social settings, he calls it the inhumane condition, or an anthropoidean slip. It's a really clever way to describe those moments when our civilized masks just kind of slip right off.
So, how do you navigate this social jungle? Well, the author found his inspiration in Teddy Roosevelt's famous words. For him, being reserved isn't about being weak. It's his big stick. It's a form of quiet confidence, a kind of strength that doesn't need to shout to be felt.
Okay, so what does this actually look like in the real world? Let's break down the author's playbook for how to handle conflict using this philosophy.
He calls it the stoic stare-down. So just imagine someone is trying to provoke you, trying to get a reaction. Instead of taking the bait, you just refuse to engage. No arguments, no defending yourself, just unwavering eye contact and a calm silence. The aggressor, who is totally expecting a fight, is left completely disarmed. They run out of steam, and eventually they have no choice but to retreat.
But here's the catch. This strategy is absolutely a double-edged sword. On one side, yeah, you avoid a ton of drama, and you gain a much deeper understanding of your environment. But on the other side, your silence can be misinterpreted as arrogance, which might lead people to exclude you, or even to fear you.
So after laying out all the pros and cons, what's the final verdict here? Is the peace that you get from silence really worth the potential social cost?
For him, the answer's a resounding yes. He's found that as he's gotten older, the benefits of being reserved have only become more and more clear. The ability to step back from all the drama and just truly observe the world has proven to be way more valuable than any social price he's had to pay. And he leaves us with this powerful paradox. In an age of endless communication, we're often more disconnected than ever. By choosing to be a listener, you're not just being quiet. You're fulfilling a deep human need that is so often ignored, the simple, profound desire to be heard.
And this brings us to a final, pretty crucial question. In a culture that seems to reward being loud, what are we missing when we choose not to listen? Perhaps the greatest power of all lies not in what we say, but in what we choose to truly hear. Makes you think, doesn't it?